Hey, how's it going? How is it going, man? MrDeadman, Rant and Chill here, talking about Nick Fuentes. And man, we did this before already with a very short-lived sort of podcast thing called All Right and the Alt-Right, where Nick Fuentes was a Fed. I exposed him. Well, I predicted the future. I didn't predict the future. We all know that Nick Fuentes is a Fed. Come on here. Come on now. Everyone knows. Everyone knew. Everyone knew he was a Fed. Anyone with a brain stem. Come on. Anyone with a functioning brain, anyone with a pulse knew that Nick Fuentes was working with the FBI. Well, now we know for sure. Now it's out there. Now it's out there. Which, by the way, hey, if you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, that's okay. I want to try to make this this episode cool for those who don't know what's really going on or who this guy is. You probably know of him though, right? I imagine you do, especially if you watch the siege or the insurrection of the Capitol. He was the guy. If you're a normie and you don't know who he is, he was the guy with American. Well, he was the guy that was there with the American first flag. You probably seen that. You probably saw that on the during the impeachment hearings and all that stuff. Oh God. Yeah. He is not a conservative. He is definitely on the far right, like the alt-right. That's where he is. That's where Nick Fuentes is. And hey, if that's your political beliefs, if that's how you identify politically, I'm not going to shit on that. I'm just saying that's not me. That's not my thing. I'm a simple conservative. I just pretty much, I don't want to pay more taxes. I don't want guns to be taken away. I really don't want the government to tell me what to fucking do. Okay, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want us to not be so reliant on China, bring our manufacturing back, but America first in things. Take care of our people. The government's role should be, if anything, taking care of us. If anything, not taking away rights. Not trampling over our rights. But that's, you know what? We'll go into that, I guess, hardcore on another episode. That's not this. But I can tell you, like you probably believe, like you probably already know, and agree with me on this, that the government is already trampling on all over our rights, the constitutional rights, and they're not going to let up. But anyway, I'll save that rant. I mean, let me just drink my beer and get back on Nick Fuentes. How you guys doing? How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel knowing that it's out? It's out there. And there's still people out there who think Nick Fuentes is not a Fed and that he's a trustworthy person. His second in command, Peter, whatever his last name is, has come out to say Nick Fuentes is working with the FBI. And he knows this. Nick Fuentes is working with the FBI. They froze his bank account. Hey, we're going to play part of that stream. In fact, let's go ahead and pull that up here now. Let's go ahead and do that. So I hope no one has given Nick Fuentes any personal information. I hope not. I hope not. Because, boy, that would surely suck. And I have seen some people who rationalize this, be like, well, we've already been doxxed. Our personal information was already been out there. We've already been on a list, on an Antifa list or whatever, so it's no big deal. It's just another list. An Antifa list is a joke. Being on a list, by the FBI, that's a whole other thing. You guys think this is a joke. It's not, but that's okay. Let's play this. So yeah, this is, sorry, I said Patrick Casey. Patrick Casey, my bad. Let's play his stream here, his video. All right. One moment, I'll crank up the volume here.
All right, good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well tonight. My name is Patrick Casey, and you are watching Restoring Order. Well, it's been an...
Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and say this. In this is a long, it's an hour and 28 minutes. You're going to see, like, Patrick is second in command. And what he's doing is essentially, some people say is slimy, backstabbing, that he's revealing personal information about Nick Fuentes. How dare he expose this? Or people even say that Patrick himself is a Fed. It's like, guys, first off, I don't know how Nick Fuentes still has fans, still has supporters and followers. Like, if you guys are all about like white nationalism and shit like that, Nick Fuentes is not your guy. If you're all about like traditional values and Catholic whatever, Nick Fuentes is a flaming homosexual in the closet with an Australian gay guy named Catboy who likes to perp on kids. That is true. None of that is false right there that I just said. And so if that's your guy, how is that traditional Catholic, whatever nonsense, how does that make any sense? Oh, and the guy is not even technically white. He's like Cuban. No, what is he? Mexican? I don't know. I don't care. I don't personally care. But for his supporters, I'm surprised. You know what? If anyone who still... No. I was going to say, if anyone who still supports Nick Fuentes now, after all this information has come out, they're a goddamn fucking idiot. No. We got to take that back. Anyone who supported Nick Fuentes even during the Catboy stuff is a goddamn fucking idiot. Maybe delusional. I'll say, hey, you're delusional, just didn't really realize what was going on. Maybe you're like, it's okay. I'll just turn a blind eye to that. With this information out, anyone who still supports Nick Fuentes, giving him personal information, and when the FBI comes knocking at your door, you have no one to blame. No one to blame at all. The time for alt-right stuff is over. That's over. Okay? And the thing I'm pissed off about that, as someone who does lean conservative, is that I get painted with that fucking brush. We're in a situation now, we're in a situation now where the FBI is increasingly looking at alt-right, far-right extremists as terrorists, and looking at them in a way that they would look at, the CIA would look at, terrorist cells or whatever, potential terrorists. That is true. That's the reality. That's actually happening. That's what's happening now. And I'll save that. I'll save what I want to say. Let's get into this, because that's what this is about. Let's let Patrick Casey do the talking.
It's been an eventful week. I think you're all likely aware of what's taken place. Let me pause this real quick. And look, if you know me and you followed me over the course of my time in dissident politics, 5 years.
Dissident
really
politics.
Flown by. You are likely aware that when it comes to e-drama, when it comes to feuding and whatever else, that's not my thing. That's not my thing. And in fact, people have gotten mad at me for refusing to get involved in what I have viewed as petty and pointless internet feuds. Everything that I'm going to say tonight, it's stuff I would rather not say. It's stuff I would rather not say. I am indeed not going to AFPAC. That much is clear. But I want to be
And that's a big issue. Patrick Casey's not going to AFPAC. And some people are upset about that. He's going to get into that here in the stream here. It's like, oh, they're upset with me because I'm not going to AFPAC. I'm not going to AFPAC because Nick Fuentes is working with the FBI. I swear, if people go up to that thing, you're on a list. Oh, but I'm fighting the machine. Whatever. No, you're not. It's over for you guys. It's over. Well, whatever.
Oh, we should be clear about something before we get into this. I had never intended to tell people that I wasn't going to AFPAC, right? It was the kind of thing that, yeah, people would find out later about, and if they wanted to give me a hard time, they could give me a hard time afterwards. But the simple fact of the matter here is that I wasn't given a choice. I wasn't given a choice here. Nick made an offhand, harmless, inoffensive comment on his, live stream a few days ago, basically stating something like, yeah, Patrick won't be there. So then that naturally led to people wondering why the CEO isn't going to be there. And I don't blame you for wondering. But the thing is for up until pretty recently, right, until this was the whole thing was made public in a pretty petty and vitriolic way, I thought it would be best for everyone involved if the narrative going into AFPAC wasn't not just Patrick, but a number of other higher-ups are not going, right? Out of respect for Nick, out of respect for his event, I was content to just...
So Nick Fuentes announces that, okay, Patrick Casey's not going. And Patrick Casey feels like he has to explain why he's not going because people are messing with him. And he claims that people have attacked him. And Patrick Casey has put a lot on. I don't know him personally. Obviously, I didn't even know his name before going into this, really. But I do know this. I've listened to this already. And knowing what these guys do, especially when they're on the far, far right of the spectrum, they're shot. They're done. Their professional aspirations are done. Like, they're not going to get a job. This guy is not going to be able to get a job anywhere, whatever, because of that. For me, like me, I mean, I'm not a centrist or whatever. I mean, I don't know. As pro-gun centrist? It locked up. Okay, sorry. It locked up for a second. Okay. Refresh the stream if you have to. I don't know. Is pro-guns, pro-First Amendment, pro-Constitution, is that centrist? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm just not all about that white nationalist bullshit. I'm not about any of that crap. Anyway, but yeah, he's done. Like, he's not gonna be able to get a job anywhere, and he feels like he was personally slated. Now, the reason why I say this is because some people say that Patrick Casey is the slimy snake, that he's the one who's backstabbing and all that. I don't know. What do you think in the chat? You think they're both kind of fucked? They're both sort of slimy bastards? Or is Patrick Casey over here just, coming out, revealing all, being like, there's a reason why I'm not going, and the reason is, you guys should know, it's coming up very soon. The reason why he's not going to AFPAC is because, hello, Nick Fuentes is a Fed. He's working with the FBI.
Not say anything, and then afterwards, once obviously people would find out I didn't go, you want to give me a hard time afterwards, that's fine. And then afterwards I could explain my reasoning. Because if I explain my reasoning as to why I'm not attending this event, as I'm about to do, the natural result will be that people are turned away from it, right? And so up until recently, out of respect for Nick and his event, I didn't want to do that. So me not saying anything was an act of consideration, right? The idea that it was gonna escape notice and I never went, no one would give me a hard time. No, that's not the case. But we should be clear that I am not the only person, not only of the Groyper Generals, but behind the scenes in the network, the inner circle, the broader inner circle that we've built up over the last year or two, who's not attending. Aside from one word for, a few insults hurled briefly at another person in AF, whom I'm not going to name, I don't want to drag him into this, these attacks have been exclusively focused on me. And these attacks started a few weeks ago from the people you know.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I'm not too worried about his attacks, whatever. Okay, he's just kind of explained that.
And he says, it's just not even worth mentioning, but he says, oh, well, yeah, we haven't really been playing that much. So the thing to keep in mind here is...
Oh, that's right. Something about him not playing video games with Nick Fuentes. Guys, I play video games too, whatever, but like, what? I think these are kids, right? These are kids wrapped up in this stuff. Oh, you're not playing video games with me. How come you don't play video games with me anymore? Dude, grow the fuck up. The only reason why we play video games is just to pass the fucking time. What the fuck, man?
It's about the pretext. This is about rationalizing getting rid of me. And the right thing to do would just be to say, hey, Patrick, we kind of don't want you in this anymore. You seem like you've drifted away and, you know, maybe you're not the right
I'm going to fast forward a little bit too.
guy
We're going to get to the
DNAF.
part of it.
I never expected to make any money in doing this. You can think that I'm making that up. It doesn't matter to me. But the point is I've sacrificed quite a bit. And if you ruin me here, well, I don't really have anywhere else to go. So I'm not asking you to be sympathetic, but I am just pointing out that these people understand this. What they're trying to do to me is sick. It's really sick. It's not...
I'm going to fast forward again too.
A question about... I wrote the initial... Right, when Jaden stepped down from TPUSA, I wrote his statement that he posted, right, why he stepped down. When Jaden launched.
Okay, fast forward again.
Because if you look at these people when they attack me, it's, yeah, he's terrible, he's a grifter, whatever else. Also, I don't see why anyone watches his content. I don't see why...
Okay, he's talking...
And the minute that you're not useful anymore, even if they...
Like, he spends, like, the first part just kind of explaining his importance or whatever and all that. Oh, okay. Let's get to the heart
claim
of it.
to be your friends, even if they really... I mean, I'm already all but kicked out of AF as it is. They're just keeping me in as a formality to pretend to be nice to me, at least those of them who aren't doing the dirty work, and then hoping that the people who are doing the dirty work can succeed at damaging my reputation to the extent that they'll just be like, oh, well, I can't associate with you anymore. Sorry, man. Yeah, it's not. And I've really been weighing it over, and I know things that...
Here we go. I think this might be where he starts getting to... We're like 15 minutes into this. A lot of kind of lame build-up, kind of explaining the reason why he's about to reveal what he's revealing in his his prior importance with AFPAC and all that stuff. Okay, all right, fine, but just get to it. Especially, see, my problem with this so far, watching this again, it's like, wait. If you have news, if you have evidence that Nick Fuentes is working with the FBI, and there's this this event planned, and Nick Fuentes is getting everyone's personal information, probably to hand over to the FBI, because what else would it be for? You should just start with that. Just start with that. Be like, hey guys, we got an important thing to talk about here. Nick Fuentes is working with the FBI. We got a rat here. You know, you don't have to start with this 15, 20-minute crap.
And other people don't, even the generals who have decided not to go to AFPAC and other insiders. I know the situation behind the scenes is far more insane and severe than you might think. And look, I am basically formalizing that I'm no longer in AF anymore, but they edged me out, right? They stabbed me in the back, not because I didn't go to AFPAC. Again, that was the pretext. Other people, they're still welcome in the club. So, again, out of respect for Nick, I didn't want to do any of this. And I've considered Nick a very good friend. I think we get along and we understand each other in ways that, you know, we're kindred spirits, similar personality type.
We're best friends.
But again, the whole concept of loyalty and usefulness applies. The minute that...
So what was he Nick Fuentes' Gator, or was Nick Fuentes' Gator to him? Nah, I don't know. I think he was Nick Fuentes' Gator. He was the second command, right?
I stopped being useful, the knives came out. And yeah, I take no pleasure in doing any of this, but it's worth pointing out that a lot of you guys, basically everyone I know and respect, you told Beardson to lay off, and I think that stuff that happens behind the scenes. And I was like, geez, why?
Okay, how far do we get
into it publicly, But I understand, you know, infiltrate, they could film, they could take pictures of you outside, they could get to know your name or your alien.
Let's go back.
Why am I not going to AFPAC?
Here we go. This should be it.
I've been at most of these events. I planned GLS. I planned the first AFPAC. Spoke at the Groper War. You've heard me on Nick's streams. I've been a big part of this. I have. And you know what? Despite the fact that I've been stabbed in the back, right, repeatedly for not, again, it's saying for not going to one event. It's not even for that. It's for other reasons. They're not stabbing anyone else in the back. So that really tells you all you need to know. Look, I don't regret being in AF. I think that this has done quite a bit to advance the cause. But behind the scenes and just in general, AF has developed into something that I can't be part of, right? Yes, they are largely stabbing me in the back. They didn't officially kick me out. Maybe on a different timeline, I didn't say anything, and I just say, oh, I'll just tell people to go, and I'll just make up a, you know, and maybe there's some like conciliatory, submissive thing that I could do on some other timeline and still be allowed in the club. But I don't want to be. The thing to keep in mind here is that there are many reasons why I'm not going. There are many reasons why I'm not going. There are many reasons why other people behind the scenes, people who are very politically savvy, people who know their stuff and are aware of the severity.
He's like really milking this. It's like, just get into it, man. We're like 21 minutes. This is like 21 minutes into his stream. Just say it. Just say it. I'm just saying, when I first watched it, I was like, man, okay, we're like, I think 30 minutes in, he's finally saying it. And watching it again, it's like, you know what? Maybe those to say, you know, maybe Patrick is making the shit up. I know he's not. You know, Nick Fuentes is totally fucking working with the FBI. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty confident in that. I'm willing to bet. Any one of those motherfuckers that were over there, that was even near the Capitol, or any one of those motherfuckers that, you know, do have like far right streams, content like this, they're being questioned. The FBI is watching them. You watch. Baked Alaska's gonna be doing some pretty hard time for dancing around for like about 20 minutes at Nancy Pelosi's office. Okay, it was funny, but he's gonna be doing time for that. And really, that guy, he kind of belongs. He does belong in jail for a number of reasons. But before he goes to prison, he's going to be spitting out names. He's going to spit out names, and the FBI is going to be looking at those people. I wouldn't be surprised if the gun of the Ethan Ralph is being tapped. Don't know.
Of the situation are not going, and then there are some things behind the scenes that even they don't know that I know. So, we can begin with the usual risks of attending a dissident event. Antifa could infiltrate, journalists could infiltrate, they could film, they could take pictures of you outside, they could get to know your name or your alias, right? And there are many ways they can do that. It doesn't have to just be with a cell phone. It could be if any journalist or Antifa.
Okay, now it's about Antifa. I'm going to fast forward the shit.
Get one of the very basic button cameras, right? You get a button camera, it goes up. And some of the extra security measures that they're going to be implementing, I don't know how, there's a way around that. But keep in mind, I'm starting with the mildest things here, right? There's always the risk of Antifa infiltration. Well, there were those risks with the two events that I planned. No one got doxxed, right? We kept it safe. There's also the risk of the venue canceling, right? I think the venue location likely will leak given how many people they want to attend. The odds of them being...
It's going to leak. That information is going to get out. Antifa is going to show. And it's going to be a shit show. Watch. Watch that.
Able to 100% vet every person there to the point that no one's going to leak the venue. No one who's at the hotel is going to realize. I wouldn't put it past the GOP.
Is that what's going on here, the pterodactyl? He stole his whole audience from Nick. He's just easing in that knife. Got to butter it up. Got to grease it up a little bit. Okay.
To be looking for people, looking for this event so that they can leak it. Now, that's a little far-fetched, but keep in mind that they are taking the claims to destroy the GOP very seriously. They are. So the venue could, right, you could travel all the way down there and it could be defunct. Now, this isn't me telling you not to go or to go.
Now, that's the thing. There's a whole political movement now to destroy the GOP. I don't even care for the GOP. You know, I don't care about that. But anyone that's conservative, they're going after, right? And when I say they, I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the politicians. Yeah, Antifa, the politicians. They don't really need Antifa anymore. They don't need Antifa anymore. Antifa's just there. They're mindless idiots. They're a tool to use. Now, they're going to be using the FBI. They're going to ramp that shit up. Now, they're pushing it out there in mainstream. Ideas of maybe we could just detain these guys, question them. Maybe we could put them in education camps. Maybe, you know, it's crazy, the rhetoric that you hear. And the reason why I'm bringing that up again, as someone who's conservative, that concerns me. You know, I'm definitely anywhere near as far as these guys are. Like I said before, I don't care. Like if they want to talk about what they want to talk about, that's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. You know, freedom of speech. I agree with that. I believe in that. Same thing with those that are on the left. You know, those are on the left. Those are that are progressives, especially even the commie guys. If they want to talk their nonsense, they can talk their nonsense. I don't care. Whatever. You know, I'm just putting it out there. Anyway, once again, we're getting into this.
Go. Again, that's a decision you have to make. But in terms of why I was against this, keep in mind, I told Nick, many others tried to impress upon Nick this stuff for some time. And, you know, it fell on deaf ears. So you have obviously the risk of Antifa infiltration journalists. You have the risk of the venue just canceling altogether and the event being a dud. You have the potential for, I don't know what, the fire department to show up and to shut it down based on COVID limitations. I don't know the specific place at concerns. Now, are those the main concerns? No, but there's just 1,000 reasons why this event could go wrong. The main reason that this event is a bad idea is because of the national security state crackdown that isn't just expected to happen, that is happening. It's here right now. And you were the...
Yep, it's here right now. And it hasn't affected normal conservatives like me yet. If it does, I'd be fucking pissed. You know?
Focus. You were the target. They were playing clips of Nick talking about killing politicians in the U.S. in Donald Trump's impeachment trial, right? This is very serious. The AF flag was seen flying inside the Capitol in many clips, and also that.
Smart move, AF. Smart move.
The clips of that were included, right? Mainstream media. They were included yesterday in the...
They're going to call America First ISIS. Watch.
Senate, the video, Senate impeachment stuff. People know AF, right? The FBI knows AF more than you might think, as we'll get to. And it's just very irresponsible as far as I'm concerned. This is a reckless and it's an irresponsible event. And the main risks that are being taken are the safety and the well-being of the people who are going, right? Someone like Nick, I don't want to say he's screwed, but he's already like in the hole, so to speak. And we'll get to...
He's in the hole, and I bet you Nick Fuentes doesn't have a choice. Like, Nick Fuentes should cancel this AF pack or whatever is supposed to happen. But I don't think he has a choice in the matter. I think it's, you're doing it. You're doing it. Now, some people say it's because of cult of personality that Nick Fuentes has too much of an ego to stop it. Or that he put in too much money to stop it. But if the FBI is talking to him, and the FBI knows about all this stuff, and they want to see an event, they're going to use this event. I hope I'm wrong on this. I hope I am. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm right. Okay. I'm willing to bet that something's going to go down at this event. And it's going to be really fucking stupid. And it's going to be used to further push some nonsense. Some very strict authoritarian nonsense. You watch.
To that. The thing to keep in mind here is that what does the FBI do? They send in informants. That's one of the main ways. They also do digital surveillance. So if you attend this event, you are running the risk of getting put on an FBI watch list, on a domestic terrorist watch list. And some of you will hear that. You'll say, oh, that's crazy. That's not going to happen. No, that does.
It's happening. Nick Fuentes on a no-fly list. He can't even fly down to Florida. He has to drive.
Happen. In 2013, the federal government applied for roughly close to 500,000 KST designations. KST stands for known or suspected terrorist. This was in 2013. What kind of people do you think they were going for back then? Probably some radical Islamists, probably some... let me check this. So...
Oh, I need to check my reminder.
The audio, there's issue with the audio. That's not good. Let me check this real quick.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit. He's having audio issues. That happens. I'm not going to make a comment on that. That happens to all of us. That happens.
There we go. So that's probably better. Appreciate whoever sent me that. So anyways, so where were we? We were talking about the FBI, right? The FBI is absolutely going to try to send informants in there. And no one can prove to me beyond the shadow of a doubt that they won't. FBI informants have already doxed tons of people from the Capitol. These people work their way into dissident politics, right? Populist politics, right-wing politics, whatever. And then they compile names, faces, and they dox you. They turn you in. Even if you guys aren't committing crimes, you could get put on a watch list. Now, again, in 2013, the federal government applied for roughly... 500,000 KST designations. That's in 2013. 99% of those were approved. So every year, hundreds of thousands of people get designated a known or suspected terrorist. After January 6th, even just after 2016 in general, who do you think the FBI is putting on these watch lists? Hundreds of thousands of people, and it's mostly going to be people like you. It's mostly going to be people who are trying to get started in life, trying to build lives for themselves, or maybe you already have a life. That is the risk you're taking. And the thing is you could go to this event and you could think it's fine, but then you go to fly and you can't fly. You go to open a bank account and they give you a hard time. All right. You apply for a job. Guess what? You're on a watch list. This is real. This is real. I know people who have been put on watch lists. FBI knocking.
That's why I want to remind everyone, for those in the chat that are of the far right variety, the time for your rhetoric is over. It's gone. Like I would stay, if that's your belief, stay quiet. Don't even talk about it. Whatever. And you could say, oh, that's being pussy or whatever you want to say about that. But how are you going to win? How are you supposed to win when the whole system is against you? They have you fucked.
On your door all the time. That's another risk that you take attending this too. As far as the most powerful state apparatus in the world is concerned, if you are associated publicly with this stuff, you are associated with domestic terrorism, with a violent attempt to overthrow the government. And look, obviously Nick wasn't trying to overthrow the government, nor were any of the AF people were there.
No, they're just idiots going into the Capitol, messing around. Did they deserve the consequence? Look, they broke the law. They deserved, they deserve to pay for that. The extent to which things are going is just insane, though. I've said that from the beginning. The extent to which the law enforcement are prosecuting these cases is just insane, because a lot of these people were just man, they weren't looking to violently overthrow. It wasn't like that. Especially, a lot of people they're just caught in the movement, whatever. But whatever, you know what? You can't even really talk about that anymore. You know, it has to be just like, oh yeah, man, insurrection. Everyone that was there was a terrorist. Everyone there, gas them all. Put them all in the cage. But the one thing I'd like about the impeachment hearings, or impeachment hearing, whatever that was today, was that you got to see that. I think the mainstream media, I think, hopefully, if Americans were paying attention, they got to see the contrast between what happened at the Capitol and also what happened during the summer. And of course, you'd be like, well, that's in the Capitol building. But during the summer, while all those violent protests were happening, all that stuff, what were the Democrats doing? They were cheering it. They were applauding it. They were encouraging it. They were endorsing it. But whatever. I'm just concerned about that stuff. Maybe I'm a little paranoid, and I probably am, because I just don't know how far the conservative purge is going to go. I hope it doesn't go very far. I hope it stops with them. I hope it stops with them. But I don't think it will.
But multiple of Nick's supporters have already been charged, right? At least, I think 3 to 4, if not more, people who are explicitly AF who got busted. You had the girl with the I'm with Groyper shirt. The kid walking around with the AF flag. He probably got busted too. I know at least one other person did. And then obviously our good friend, Baked Alaska.
Yeah, they were trusting Elf in the chat. Technically, you're on the list too for watching Casey video. I might already be on a list for doing that R-right and the alt-right stream. I think it's obviously satirical, right? Anyone with a brainstem can figure out that that's satirical. I'm gonna make one of you guys a mod so you can take care of the messages, so I don't have to. The person here that I trust the most has been around the most. It's a tie between James Fountain and Terry Dactyl. I'll give it to Terry Dactyl. There. And James Fountain. There you go. There you go. Take care of the messages for me. When I mean take care of, I mean show them. Don't hide them. Show them.
So this is serious. The crackdown is here, and the Eye of Sauron is totally trained on this.
The Eye of Sauron. What? Okay. Very, very nerd reference there. All right.
Not Wignats, not the popular, not patriot types. Yes, them too. But AF is front and center to this. And I'm sorry. It brings me no joy to say this. But I have seen what happens when internet celebrities expose their followers to risks that just totally do not justify any potential rewards that could be had. And I can't participate in that. I'm sorry. This is why I broke.
Pause real fast. My Jannies don't Janny. They just show. They know. They don't. They just show. They hit the show button. They just hit the show button. That's all they do. If they hit the hide button, they lose that wrench. I don't care what it says.
Broke with the alt-right after Charlottesville, right? It's very similar. It's very funny how it's follow. I've seen this movie before, basically. In 2017 in the alt-right, you had a number of rallies that, despite not being the most optical, worked out fairly well. They were safe. No one got hurt. No one got doxxed. And what do you say then? Oh, well, let's just do a really big one. And so, internet celebrities who build up online followings mobilize their viewers and listeners and supporters in general and take them out to IRL events. And it goes okay for a while. Stop the Steal, it went okay for the while. And then the issues with these big public events eventually come to the fore. With Charlottesville, we saw what happened. And look, Charlottesville, from an optical perspective, was terrible. From a strategic perspective, it was a huge blunder. But
yeah,
the events at the Capitol, regardless of how much you're willing,
gigantic blunder. What the hell?
To defend them publicly, are a million times worse. Guys, this is a million times worse. The national security state at Charlottesville, I think the FBI was kind of looking into things. If you were on camera scrapping with, your right-wing guy,
Oh, they were probably monitoring Richard Spencer, most definitely. And events like that, like Charlottesville, the reason why I covered that is because as someone who leans conservative, that shit it's like, oh fuck, God, man. Now the media is gonna. I'm not gonna go into that. We all know what happened. We all know what happened there and how the media treated all that stuff.
Rapping with Antifa, yeah, they might charge you with something, and some people did get charged. But again, not only is this investigation into the Capitol protest and everyone remotely affiliated with it, this is unprecedented in FBI history. So not only is this worse than whatever the FBI did around Charlottesville, this is worse than any. This is the most serious, the biggest investigation that the FBI apparently has ever done. That's just coming from the prosecutors. Maybe it's not 100% the biggest, but they're saying that it is. It's so serious, guys, and some of you guys still aren't taking it seriously enough. So if you go to this event, the risk, you could think it's fine. You're going there to hang out with your favorite internet celebrity, to drink beer with, the average groiper, and you could think, hey, this is great, this is fine, and then that's you want. It's not that you'll never know. You'll know eventually. You'll know eventually when you apply for that job, when you try to go fly, right, or when the FBI comes knocking at your door. The FBI has knocked on people's doors behind the scenes, people you know. So it's not, again, speculative. Prior to even AF, I knew people who could get knocks on the door from the FBI just because they got caught posting in the wrong Discord server.
I mean, that shit happens too. I mean, we've seen the FBI go after people who post memes. We've seen the CNN go after people who post memes, threaten them. Watch what happens, man. If the impeachment thing goes in a bad way, which a lot of people think it's not going to go that way, but I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm starting losing faith. You watch what happens. Anyone who still has that Trump flag, and I know not all Trump supporters are toxic, evil, vile scum. I know that. I have family that are Trump supporters, and if I have family that are Trump supporters. I voted for the guy. You can say I'm a Trump supporter. Did I care for everything he said? I mean, okay. Sometimes he says some silly stuff that can be taken out of context. Of course, it doesn't help that the media only plays one clip, one part of it. They don't play the whole thing that he said. But anyway, let's get back to this.
Posting totally defensible stuff. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you do in terms of how optical or smart it is. If you are associated with this stuff, right? If they can prove that you're at one of these events, you're on the watch list, and they'll probably try to do worse to you. Look at Ricky Vaughn. They charged him with, they're trying to put him away for 10 years, given everything, given some memes that he tweeted back in 2016, right? The statute of limitations on all this stuff is insane.
Posting memes, man. You think that would be First Amendment right? No, posting memes, man. Welcome to your police state, man. The system's against you. Oh, watch those conservative memes, man. Watch those Trump memes. Oh, you got a Pepe avatar? Oh, we're coming after you. You have a Trump hat? We're coming after you. You have a Trump flag? We're coming after you. Watch what happens. You watch what freaking happens.
And they're building a very big conspiracy case, which unfortunately is going to involve many of the Stop the Steal, the main Stop the Steal people. Is it going to involve Nick? I don't know. I genuinely, despite him stabbing me in the back, I don't have really any ill will towards the guy. I don't want him to get in trouble. But if you look at what he was saying outside of the Capitol, it was really reckless and irresponsible. A lot of the other stuff, and look, people behind the scenes get this. They don't want to say it, right? People in the inner circle. Talking about killing politicians, even though you did some equivalent.
Yeah, you can't do that. Even if you add the in Minecraft thing, if they want to charge you with it, they're going to cut off that in Minecraft thing, that little cute thing. They're going to cut that part off.
Equivalent of in Minecraft after, it doesn't matter. You don't say stuff like that. They're playing that in Donald Trump's impeachment proceedings. You think the FBI hasn't seen that and isn't taking that seriously? They have, as we'll see. And it's just one reckless decision after another. And eventually I have to
Now let's talk about his suit for a second. As someone who's dressed up like a meth dealer, we got to talk about appearances here. Is that his suit? Or is that his dad's suit? Does look kind of nice. Kind of big on the sleeves. I would wear a suit and tie. Look all sharp and professional, all that. But I hate wearing a fucking suit. I hate that shit. The moment I get out of the courthouse, I'm like, get this fucking tie. Actually, dude, sometimes I don't even go to court with a suit. I try to I hate that shit.
To say I'm not part of this. I'm sorry. I can't be part of this. I can't go along with this decision. Because again, even if AFPAC appears that it goes well, can you prove to me that there won't be federal informants there? Can you prove to me that that phone data won't be used to determine who was there? You can't prove any of this stuff. I'm sure that the guys who are planning this event are taking it very seriously. I'm sure they are, but there's only so much that you can do.
Because Nick is a Fed.
Yeah.
Drink that water.
It's a very unfortunate situation, but they forced my hand. They did. And frankly, I think this is the right decision to make. I think it is. I was on the fence. I hadn't decided whether or not I was going to publicly.
His cadence is very similar to that of Nick Fuentes, though. Like, I gotta say, like, I know he's like a second in command, but like, the way he talks, his speech pattern, it reminds me of Nick Fuentes. Right? Or am I wrong there?
Get into all of this out of respect for Nick. I was leaning towards not doing it, which is why I hadn't. But I think that you guys deserve to know this. You guys deserve to know it. You can make an informed opinion. The actual risks, Nick isn't going into the actual risks. None of the other guys were telling you that you have to go to this event. I guess they're telling me that. Maybe they're not telling you that, but they're urging you to go to this event. They're not telling you the risks.
They're not telling you the risk. He's about to drop it here, and that you have to go to this event. If there's not a big thing that goes down at this event, then what it definitely is for the FBI to get everybody else they need on that list and to start asking a lot of questions and start taking certain actions. Watch. Ralph is probably on the list. I might be on the list after this. FBI, I made it pretty clear. I'm not on this guy's team. I'm looking at him like, dude, like you made other conservatives look bad. Like, you fucked up. You fucked up. You really fucked up. And if you watch the stream I did after the Capitol siege, I was very fucking pissed. I was very goddamn fucking pissed.
And they're not telling you the severity of things behind the scenes. So again, not betraying, but saying things that someone has told me in confidence, I'm really against doing that. But I feel a moral obligation to. Because it hasn't sat well with me that you guys are not being told exactly the extent to which people are being cracked down on behind the scenes. So Nick is, and look, despite him stabbing me in the back and whatever, I consider this guy one of my best friends up until basically this week. So this is still, this isn't easy for me. But Nick is 100% under FBI investigation. He confirmed that to me. This isn't me speculating. This isn't me looking at misinformed 4chan screenshots. Nick told me that the feds froze his bank account, right? Did he tell you that when he's collecting your...
Oh, his bank account's frozen, guys. Oh, that's just a normal thing. You know, that just happens to all of us, right?
Real name to come to this event? Did he tell you that the feds froze his bank account? Freezing someone's bank account, that's the kind of thing that you hear about happening in like gangster movies, in RICO cases. I've been involved in dissident politics.
Freezing a bank account, shutting down a bank account, that shit's been happening for a while. The fact that it just now happened to Nick Fuentes is very interesting. How long do you think the FBI has been talking to Nick? Think it's just now? Think it's just recently? Very interesting. Milo's a Fed. Nick Fuentes is a Fed. The other question I have for you guys. Do you think Ethan Ralph is being tapped now? What about that?
For a long time, I have never heard of that happening. This is serious. This is serious. The FBI is cracking down like you've never seen before. Unprecedented, right? And they're cracking down on people you know. If given that Nick's bank account has been frozen by the FBI, likely the FBI, we don't really know who, but the FBI announced that it was investigating the cryptocurrency donations of which Nick obtained by far the line.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah. The FBI is looking in the cryptocurrency that Nick Fuentes received. Didn't Ethan Ralph receive some of them too? Very, very suspect. And weren't they sent by some French dude? Fill me on the details of that.
Lion's share. Yeah, it's probably the FBI, given what we know about the FBI working with various banks. And it's the FBI. The FBI is looking at Nick, and they're looking at his finances, and they're saying, you can't access your money anymore. But he's not going to tell you that. He's not going to tell you that. He's going to say, come.
No, guys, I'm totally not a Fed. Everything's cool, man. Come to my party. Come to this big party that I put a lot of money into. I paid for all the decorations, paid for the location and the decorations. It's all going to be cool, man. No, there's no hidden cameras around. And those other guys in suits, oh, they're goipers too, man. That's what's going on.
Come to my event. Yeah, if you're really concerned, then don't go. But he's not going to make you aware of the severity of the situation behind the scenes. So, and again,
it's hilarious. Because to go to that event, Nick needs your full name, your information to screen you. Like, what sort of information does Nick Fuentes need from you if you're interested in going? I don't know. What sort of information does he need from people that are interested in going to one of these AF packs, whatever, AFPAC? Because if it's like first name, last name, social security, or you don't even need that, a date of birth. You could do a lot with just that, first name, last name, date of birth. You could do a lot with that, especially with location information, like address. You have that, you can get a social real fast. And I mean, you're getting right there. There's all sorts of ways to find people with just that limited information. I can tell you firsthand.
Yeah, and I felt a real moral dilemma. My friend is in a rough spot. He's trying to do this event, but it's just a bad idea for a million reasons. And now he's telling me, but not many other people, that his bank account has been frozen. What do I do? What do I do? Well, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done if they didn't cancel me, but there's no reason for me to withhold this information from you guys when they're stabbing me in the back repeatedly. Nick is under FBI investigation. They've frozen his bank account. He suspects, quite rightly, that he's on a no-fly list. So he's going to be driving.
I told you, no-fly list.
Driving from Chicago to Florida. But
he can't even fly to his event. And he can't even do an RV bus tour because Baked Alaska is going to be in prison. Isn't Baked Alaska already in prison? Come on now. They haven't really followed up with that. Is he in the slammer yet? What's going on with that one?
But he wants you to give him your real name, to show up to his event where your face will be visible, where your cell phone data will be in close proximity to his, where the venue will likely be leaked. So journalists, Antifa, federal authorities can.
And if Antifa shows, there's going to be a conflict, there's going to be some fighting, and it's going to be great.
Go, and they already know where it is. If they're looking at his finances, they're clearly looking at his text messages, at the emails he's sending. You think they don't know where the conference is, right? You don't think they could just have people walking around the venue that even if they don't attend, who are keeping tabs on things? The FBI has messed with people for far less. This is very serious. You want to cancel me over this for saying...
And if you're curious, is the FBI at all... I mean, yeah, the FBI is looking at the far right. It's all there. You can Google it. But are they at all maybe possibly looking at the far left, like Antifa and the connection between Antifa and various politicians that seem to be cheering them on, and that that flat out promote them, that promote the violence that they have done, that will endorse the burning businesses, the looting, all the destruction, the deaths of many people, even kids. Does the FBI look into that? Not that I could see. Not that I could tell. And I really try to look for it. You'd think they would. They still haven't solved the case of the pipe bombs. That wasn't. We all know the pipe bombs wasn't by some goiper or some Trump supporter. No, we know who the pipe bombs were dropped by. We know who. But the FBI can't figure that one out because they don't want to. Which has someone like me, and maybe someone like you, a little worried.
Well, they've kind of already done that. You want to stab me in the back? Go right ahead, right? Join the party. But I have a moral obligation to do this. I've seen these internet cults of personality go awry, and I can't participate, right? If fewer people watch my show because I'm letting you know why I'm not going, as they asked me to, then that's fine. That's fine. Because ultimately, whether or not 500 or 700 or 1,000 people watch my show, that's we've got to keep our eyes on the long term, right? All that matters at the end of the day is whether or not our civilization is safe. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So if I am going to have to take the brunt of the attacks, if people are not going to support me anymore, so be it. So be it. The thing is, guys, never meet your heroes. That's the best advice I can give you. There has really been this cult-like...
Never meet your heroes. You hear that a lot. It's true. But so what do you guys think about this? I've not really been interacting that much with the chat. Like normally in Rant to Chill, it's a back and forth. It's like, all right, we're just chilling about what's going on here. Well, Mom's Ravioli was going to pop in the VC. Not sure what happened with that, but did Cammy stop streaming? I'm not sure. Looked like someone said Cammy got raided. Catboy got raided. Feds are Antifa. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that. And as far as the future of Antifa goes, I don't know what that is. I want to believe that they were used as useful idiots, as a tool to cause all sorts of destruction and mayhem, and to blame that on Trump and Trump supporters, because that's what it's going to be now. I mean, I couldn't imagine that they just want to burn businesses and cities down for no other reason. I mean, we know the Democrats, or just U.S. government, is the type that will use people, like even a terrorist group. They've done this before in the Middle East. Use a terrorist cell to their advantage, arm them up to fight a cause for them, and then afterwards backstab them, sell them out, and fuck them over. So, I mean, if Antifa thinks that they're safe working with the government, I don't know. Maybe they are. But their occupation of hotels aren't going the way that they think, or going the way they wanted. And Biden most definitely is not the president they wanted. They made that clear when they still riot, not peacefully protest, but riot. Good thing for them, Biden is so weak, he can't do anything about that. Might want to ask Obama, because apparently Obama is still running things behind the scenes. Weird. I thought we elected Biden. Why is Obama doing things? Look into that. Look into that.
Atmosphere in AF. You've got Assistant Groiper tweeting out, you don't get to criticize the leader. He's the smartest, most capable man, and he's the only person. That's a cult. That's a cult. If you're getting to the point where your favorite podcaster, you have sworn total allegiance and you're just going to do whatever he says, well, people did that to Richard Spencer. How'd that work out? People have done that to Nick Fuentes. Some of them are going to prison. Yeah. And many more will be put on watch lists and will have the rest of their lives really adversely affected. So I will say this. I have dropped some serious stuff here, and I didn't really want to get into this. They forced me. They forced me to.
So I just want to put it back out there that they say that Patrick Casey is the snake, the slime ball for releasing this information. And some people do not believe this information. They think that Nick Fuentes is an upstanding guy and they still support him. I don't care what people say about Patrick Casey. I didn't even know his name or know much about him other than he's the second in command and of American First or whatever. But I could say this, that he could apparently back it up with messages, release the messages, show. He even says here in the stream that, hey, if Nick Fuentes calls him a liar, he's going to release that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if that stuff has already been released. But that doesn't really matter because that doesn't need to happen. I mean, it's clearly evident that Nick Fuentes is absolutely a Fed. When I did this stream, a lot of you were like, yeah, we know. Grass is green. Bears shit in the woods. Yeah, we know this. Duh. You know? Everyone knows. The other thing is, even if for some reason Nick Fuentes supporters weren't convinced that he was a Fed, how in the world did they actually think it's a smart thing to continue on supporting Nick Fuentes or showing up in public to those venues, those events? What the fuck, man? You have to be some sort of brainless idiot to think that's a good idea, especially now. Damn, dude. Watch. The way things are right now in our political climate, and correct me if I'm wrong here, they could drone strike that fucking event on American soil, and then what will happen is the mainstream media would support it. CNN, MSNBC would support that shit. They'd be like, all right, we got rid of a terrorist cell, got American first. And no one else would care. I would think it's horrible, but no one else would care. I mean, no one of importance anyway. What do you guys think? Spencer had a cult, but not a lucrative E-celeb cult like Nick. Yeah. Yeah, Spencer, do you think Spencer was a Fed during Charlottesville and all that stuff? I think he was. I think he definitely was. If he wasn't then, he definitely was after. They tapped his ass. Fuentes is done. Catboy was the perfect way to delegitimize AF, right? Anyone that supported after Catboy, Jesus Christ. But whatever. Whatever. Like I said, I was never even a supporter of Nick. What happened to the BBP stream, Devin? It should still be up. Is it not up? I mean, what happened to the BBP stream? We did it. We had a good time. It was great. Now you have me concerned. Is it not up still? There's no reason why we should be flagged unless someone was offended. T-Clips. The only person that would be offended would be T-Clips. And if that's the case, she's a cunt. But check on that. I guess I'll check on that. I mean, this pretty much wraps up this part here. I mean, that's the big reveal that Nick Fuentes is a Fed. His bank account is frozen. He's on a no-fly list. He's going to have to drive from Chicago to Florida to his own event. He's still taking people's personal information to go to that event. Nice. Thank you, Brucey, for checking it still up. Oh, you didn't know it happened yet? Oh, yeah, it happened. And it was good. It was good. It was a good time. And, you know, I said it was probably the best stream I've had in a while. Obviously, thanks to PPP, because, you know, he definitely brings in the traffic. It was cool. It was cool. Had a good time talking to him. Oh, shit. Okay. A message of some sort, I guess. Yeah, a lot of fun talking about the gun. And like I said, though, I'm going to try to move away from the gun. Got to. Maybe look for other corn to harvest? Sure. But at the same time, Rant and Chill is not always about harvesting corn. It's also about ranting and chilling about various things. I mean, tonight was not really going to be about Nick Fuentes. This sort of fell in my lap last minute. Mom's Ravioli, he's a familiar in the chat and in the Discord. He dropped it to me. I was like, oh, yeah, we definitely have to talk about that. I was going to go into maybe a more parenting sort of rant, or a sort of a man's issue sort of rant. Those sort of things. Because those family issues, they matter. And while I may look like a meth dealer, come on, guys. If you guys can't have the habit and maintain a family, no, just fucking rat. Yeah, imagine getting family advice, parenting advice for someone who looks like he deals meth at a school. That's funny. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up the Nick Fuentes thing. I mean, I know this thing goes on for a while, and I think Nick Fuentes said something. Nick Fuentes said some stuff on the kill stream. I have not heard it. I guess I could listen to it live if one of you guys have a link to it. I don't go on Trovo. Well, if I go on Trovo, I don't know if that stream still going to be there. Is it going to be archived? It might be in the Kiwis. That'd be one reason why I would go into overtime on this, would be to get Nick's statement on this whole thing. But I don't know. The path forward. Okay, so he had a following up. He had a follow up on the. I guess Patrick Casey did. We can play that. I don't know. Does he show the messages there? That'd be interesting. There's two things. Oh, is that the link? All right. If that's the link, then I'll play it and I'll listen to it now. The first thing I need to do is take a piss. So, 1 second. Okay. Gotta take a fucking piss. One moment. That's lame. I will play my music and one moment. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to play the kill stream. We're going to play the kill stream, the part where Nick Fuentes, I guess, has his little talk, his little speech. 2:30 is the timestamp. Let's go to 2:30 here. Where's it at? Wow. 2:30, huh? You guys ready?
Because you have to be following for 30 minutes now. We might see him later on, I guess. But I see Jaden says, I haven't even watched this before. He said it was about a little bit on your stream. It's like, oh, these guys got a little beef or whatever. Nothing that huge. And then this happened right before I came on air. I was like, okay. Wow. All right. Whoa. This is what's happening. Okay. This is kind of, because I didn't even talk about it before. Oh, they're saying he's in here. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, he's in the Discord now.
All right. Mr. Fuentes, welcome back.
Like I care about my hair. It's like that. Okay. Anyway, let's go get this started. Little Nicker's reaction spurred doubt. Okay, let's see. This is Doom? Yeah, that was Doom music. It was like synthwave Doom. That's what it was. It's a pretty cool cover. Anyway.
Back to the kill stream, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, just emceeing the evening here. Like I just got through saying, this kind of broke loose right before I came on air tonight. Of course, we had to cover it, obviously. But Patrick Casey, CEO of the movement, as he was dubbed there, kind of saying, well, I guess we could go through some of the things he said, but saying you're under federal investigation, that your bank account's been frozen, and you're doing this to recoup your... See if we're up. I'm going to lower some of the...
So, yeah, you think Ralph was afraid during this? Think he's worried that, oh, my God, this is going to hit me? Is my bank going to get frozen?
Some of the settings here, because I'm on a mobile hotspot, too. Nick, just go ahead, man. Are we on the air? Can we verify that?
It's spinning.
Wait, he runs the kill stream from a mobile hotspot? Oh, I shouldn't say anything. It's probably more reliable than my internet.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like you're back to me.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm gonna lower the bit rate, and we should be good.
Ralph got DDoS just as I suspected because certain people are you know who they are.
Yeah, we know who they are.
The A-logs, Gator. They're attacking me. They probably are. Which, come on, guys. I know we hate Ethan Ralph, but come on, you gotta DDoS him. That's probably not even it. His internet probably just doesn't work. Anytime there's an internet issue with someone like him, they'll be like, "Oh, it's a DDoS." Oh, okay.
They DDoS us anyway. Go ahead. While we got the mobile hotspot, give your take, Nick.
Yeah, well, I will tell you the truth. I didn't even catch the Patrick Casey stream. I was busy this evening taking care of some things, and so I actually missed
Taking care of some things. I would ask, "Oh, what things were you taking care of?" Be like, were they Catboy things? Or they glow in the dark things? What things were you taking care of, huh?
the entire deal. I was engaged in something where I was unable to access my phone, wasn't able to watch the stream. And it's interesting because I had actually announced earlier today that I wasn't doing a show tonight. You know, I think that was announced this afternoon.
The audio was pinking. I'm sorry.
And so I'm unable to live stream currently. We're working on our stream. As you know, I got banned from D Live, and we're working through this temporary solution. So
You got banned from D Live. What else?
we don't have the technical capacity for tonight to go forward with it because we had some issues with the stream last night and the night before. So I think the timing was kind of interesting, actually, that no show tonight, and I'm unable to do a show, and that's where the stream happened. So I haven't watched it. I haven't seen all the accusations that were made or anything like that. I certainly heard about it online.
He doesn't know about the accusations. He heard about it online, but he has a rebuttal for it. Amazing.
I've heard about it secondhand from people. And, I want to say in the first place, I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised and disappointed with Patrick. And I'm not only surprised because I considered Patrick a friend, and we were even friendly just the other day, And I thought Patrick was supposed to be an ally of this movement, a friend of the movement and all of that. And
the movement that's giving information to the feds. Okay.
It's not only the substance or the content of what he said or his opinion.
How would he know about the substance or context of what he said if he didn't hear what he said?
Opinions or whatever. It's the manner in which he went about this, because
how would he even know the manner? All right, hold on.
And the first thing I want to say is there was a real deliberative process that went on internally for weeks about whether or not to move forward with AFPAC. In the aftermath of the Capitol riots, I called up all the Groyper generals. Many people were involved in this.
Groyper generals. That's a hell of a term.
And we had this discussion for hours. We had several calls about this. And I went into each of those calls and I told everybody because, full disclosure, I am organizing AFPAC. I'm organizing AFPAC this year through a 501c4 nonprofit called the America First Foundation. It's my foundation. It's my nonprofit. I have donors that have put up the money for this. It's my donor network and people
the donors, huh? I wonder if they glow in the dark.
Involved with me that are putting this together, putting up the money and all of that. And so I called up all the Groyper generals to say, what are your thoughts on going forward with this? This is weeks ago. I don't remember the exact date when we had this call, but I got everybody on the phone and I said, I have an open mind. Tell me what your thoughts are. Should we go forward? Should we not go forward? What are your concerns? What are your thoughts? You think it's a good idea? I said, and I'm on the fence, and I was at the time. I was undecided on this for a long time, actually until last week. I was undecided until last Tuesday. Last Tuesday is when I made the final decision to move forward with the conference. And so this was weeks ago that I got on the phone with everybody and I said, what are your thoughts? I'm still making up my mind. And we went around and it seemed basically divided. About half of the Groyper generals said, let's do it. Let's go forward with it. It's a good idea. It's a good opportunity, etc. And the other half raised concerns. And I asked them what their concerns were, and we explored their concerns. And I said, okay, well, I will come back to all of you in a week. I will address these concerns. You know, I enumerated them. I said, okay, our concerns are this, 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 and the other thing. And I will come back in a week after we address these things and you know, see if we can mitigate risks. We'll see if we can mitigate these concerns. We'll come back in a week and I'll tell you how we've done. And I'll tell you the major concerns were these. The first concern, and in my opinion, the biggest and most practical and realistic concern, was venue cancellation. That was the first and the biggest issue that was raised, which is to say, what if we go forward with the conference and the venue pulls out, the venue cancels on us? The second concern, of course, is
It's like he's repeating what we heard from Patrick, right? But he's going to leave out the Fed part.
Is the privacy and the security of the attendees. You know, are people going to be doxxed? Are people going to be put in harm's way? Is there going to be any kind of risk that people are going to have their identity compromised or that the event won't be secured? And then all the other concerns were basically intangible or, in my opinion, unimportant. The concerns were things like, well, there's going to be this perception that, you know, I don't know, like maybe people aren't going to buy tickets because of everything that's going on. Maybe people are going to say that because we're asking for the real names of the attendees, people will say.
Does he even bring up the FBI thing? Does he?
That that's conspicuous or something. You know, a lot of the concerns, these other concerns fell into a category of things that were basically dependent on a public perception and things that are not tangible. Things like, well, I just don't think it's a good idea, or I think it's a bad time, or we should postpone it, we should delay it when things aren't like this. But, you know, from my understanding when we were on this call, when I laid out the concerns, I said, okay, so from what I'm hearing, we've got venue cancellation, we've got doxing, and then we've got a lot of intangible things that, you know, they're either things that goes the territory with any conference. You know, any conference, there's people are going to have an opinion about it, right? In any conference, you run the risk that people are not going to want to buy in. And what's more is a lot of the concerns about this.
Please tell me someone stops him and be like, dude, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're worried about. We don't give a shit about that stuff. We're worried about, are you working with the FBI? Are you? Because that's what we're talking about.
Time are not specific to this time. These are concerns that we had last year. These are concerns that we'll have next year. You know, last year, people like Bronze Age Pervert said, after the Groyper War, you've got all this attention on you. You've got people that are going to be targeting you, and it's not a good time. That's what they told us last year, you know. And last year there were no problems. Last year nobody got doxxed. Last year none of these really serious concerns materialized, right? And so I said, look, we can talk about things that are pragmatic, and we could try to figure out those concerns. And the things that are intangible, well, I'm not really interested in that, right? So I went ahead with the team that's putting together AFPAC, and we addressed venue cancellation. We called up the venue and we said, you know, we are going to need you to go up all the way up the flagpole and ask if this is guaranteed. We have certain provisions in our contract which protect us, and specifically,
it's going to be protected.
When talking to them, we gave them all the bad press. We said, look, they're calling us insurrectionists, they're calling us terrorists, they're calling us white nationalists, white supremacists.
No, is Ralph even listening?
This is what you're going to get. You're going to get Antifa. If this thing gets leaked, you're going to get everybody coming down. We gave them the worst of it. And they got back to us. They ran it up the flagpole with everybody, and they said, we're totally fine. And I said, you know what? Just in case that's not true, we'll book a backup venue too, which we've done. So there's that. And then we went with the risk about people getting their identity compromised and things like that. And we realized that one of the biggest vulnerabilities for people getting their identity compromised is transacting online with e-commerce. Because, of course, if people are submitting their information online, it's very easy for this information to end up in the wrong hands if it's on a third party. So like last year, we're only doing checks. We're only doing cash to accept payment. And what's more is we've implemented a very sophisticated, very thorough security system I have not gone into detail about that on my show because to reveal the security system would give people obviously time to prepare to thwart our security system. So we're hoping that people are going to be caught off guard, but there's a lot that's going into it. It's very severe. Last year we had a very strict vetting procedure.
Oh my God, he does filibuster. This guy rambles on. Come on, man. Get to it. No one stops him? Where's Randbot? Where's Randbot? Randbot would have stopped him, right? Or is he here? He didn't stop him at all? He can't be reading the Kiwi Farms. He won. There's a reason to be reading the Farms anymore. He won. It's over. He probably won't even... Watch. He's probably not even going to pay child support. He's probably going to say that baby's not even his. He's going to say it's Digibros. Or Mundane Matt. It'd be funny somehow he blames it on Mundane Matt's mount. I don't know.
Very strict security, and nothing happened. And this year, we're increasing that dramatically. There's far more provisions in place. And so I got back on the phone with everybody the following week, and I said, here's what we've done. Here's what we've done to address venue cancellation. Here's what
Now,
we've
did
done.
Patrick
to
Casey
address-
raise anything during these calls? Did he specifically speak about any of this? Or?
Yes. Patrick was an opponent of going forward with the conference, of
Okay.
course. And the first call and the second call. And by the way, these were the concerns that he raised. Okay, so everything that I'm hearing today about no-fly list or frozen bank account or FBI, never heard that from him.
Never heard that from him. Okay. But that's not what he said. He said that you, Nick Fuentes, said to him that you're working with the FBI.
Never heard that from him on call number 1. Never heard that from him from call number 2. I have not heard about those so-called concerns until tonight, until that stream, which is very interesting because
Until that stream. So he knows about the stream. And he probably listened to the stream.
we had our first call lasted for hours, and the second call I think lasted for an hour too. And I gave everybody an opportunity to vent their concerns. I gave everybody
I see that OBS is dropping frames. I do apologize for that. There's not really much I could do about that. I'm looking at it. I'm like, fuck. Sometimes that happens.
opportunity to tell me, and I said this, and I made this point repeatedly. I said, I'm on the fence. I said, and I want to know if I have any blind spots. I want to know what the practical concerns, what problems we could run into that maybe I'm not considering, so that if these concerns are too great, I will call it off. And, he made a comment on the stream. He said, well, Nick said that he put up all this money and he's just trying to recoup his money, and that's why. And he leaves out the fact that I said on the first call, I said, look, we have put up a lot of money that we will lose if we cancel the conference. And I said on the first call, like a month ago, maybe not a month ago, a few weeks ago.
What he said, though, is that there's messages between you and him that talked about you working with the FBI. That's are being investigated. I probably would have worded it that way. Are you being investigated by the FBI? Are you? That's a yes or no.
Weeks ago, I said, I am willing to eat that cost. Now, that's not Patrick. That's not any of these guys who are weighing in. That's me. That's me, okay? That's the foundation that's losing that money. So I said, I'm perfectly willing to eat the cost. I said, the only reason I bring it up is because, you guys get on this call.
And Ethan Ralph sucks on Nick Fuentes' teat, right? Ethan Ralph loves Nick Fuentes, right? If I was Ethan Ralph, I would do everything I can to try to move the kill stream more away from the far right. Otherwise, he's gonna get the axe. You watch, it's coming. It's coming. Might be too late. It probably is. Who knows, though? He has that DSP luck.
And you're saying, well, we don't think it's a good idea. And I'm saying we need practical concerns. I want to hear tangible concerns, because a lot of time and a lot of money has gone into this, and it's not as simple as pulling the plug. We're going to have to unwind it. It is going to cost a substantial amount of money, and lots of energy and effort and time has gone out the window. I said, but if if this conference is a bad idea, then we will do that. I said, I am prepared to do that. If we can't have the conference, we won't have the conference. I said, but I want to hear all the concerns, and then I will make a decision about whether or not to move forward with it. And I got on call number 1, and I heard the concerns, and I said, what I just told you, I said, are these the concerns? And they said, yes. Yes, the summary that I just gave you, venue cancellation, doxing, and these intangibles. I said, are those the concerns? Yep.
After this, we're going to listen to a little bit of what Patrick Casey had to say, because I'm sure there might be something interesting there. I don't know.
Are you sure? Is that everything? Yep, those are the concerns. So I went to work over the next week and a half or whatever it was, and we addressed all those things, and I came back on the call, and I said, this is what we've done. I think that we have done everything in our power to mitigate the risks, and you know what? I don't think there is a catastrophic risk. I said, and I'll tell you this too, I even talked to my lawyers. I'm talking to 4 different lawyers right now. It's costing.
He has 4 different lawyers? Fuck that shit. He has 4 different lawyers. This motherfucker can afford 4 different lawyers. Okay. All right. He has a legal team too. All right. I don't believe that shit. I don't believe that shit for a fucking second. I don't know how much this motherfucker makes. Doesn't he live with his mom still? I mean, what's the deal? By lawyers, does he mean like FBI agents? Like, what is he talking about?
Costing me an obscene amount of money. You know, Patrick said that I'm broke or something. Imagine talking to 4 lawyers and you know, ask yourself.
I've had to talk to a few recently. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
is it possible to talk to 4 lawyers if you have $0? I think that would be a first in the history of mankind. I think that would be really interesting. And so I talked to them, and I said, look.
Well, we got a few squeals from the pig. That's good.
We've got a conference going on because there's different things going on. Obviously, there's a lot of legal fallout. There's a lot of questions, lots of things going on. I said, do you think there's any reason we should be concerned going forward with a conference like this? And this is a lawyer, by the way. This is a lawyer that specializes with the FBI. This is a criminal.
A lawyer that specializes with the FBI. Why would Nick Fuentes have a lawyer that specializes with the FBI? Why would he have that lawyer? There you go, Ethan. There's the opening for that question. Why would you have that lawyer? What's going on? Are you being investigated?
Criminal attorney specializes with the FBI. We referred to this attorney specifically
because that's the rub. All the stuff he's saying is like, okay, I don't care about that. The rub is, are you being investigated? Because that's the concern. If you're being investigated and this event's still going on, how the people that go to this event need to know that you are being investigated, because that information that they're giving you could easily go to the FBI.
Because of his expertise. And he said, well, is it legal? We said, yeah. He said, everything's above board, right? It has nothing to do with, you know, what happened on the 6th. I said, no. He said, then I wouldn't even worry about it. And this is a guy who I've talked to a lot. I've developed a personal relationship, and
a personal relationship with a lawyer. Okay. All right.
He was very almost like dismissive of it, like don't even give it a second thought. We said, really? Are you sure? Because you know, everything that's going on, are you sure this is a good idea? He said, yeah, of course. Just go about your business like you would normally. Now, that's not me making this up. I was surprised when he said that, legitimately, and that's why we asked. We said, are you serious?
Of course he wants you to go forward. Yeah. Lawyers now, even with the way things are in this political climate, the way things are going on right now, that FBI lawyer is, or that attorney that specializes working with the FBI is probably looking at, you know, yeah, go ahead with the event, and anything I could do to appease the FBI, I'll do.
And he said that. So I came back on the call and I told them, this is what we've done. And I said, by the way, doxing and this kind of thing, this is a risk that you take whenever you go anywhere. And you know me, maybe you don't, but people that watch my show will know this. I, on my show for years, have talked about IRL events. And I have always talked about the risks. I have always told people, only get involved in the movement insofar as you are willing to take non-zero risks when it comes to things like this. You know, and anytime you do an event, whether it's Groyper Leadership Summit or AFPAC 1 or AFPAC 2 or Stop the Steal, whenever you fucking leave your house and you engage in political activity, it carries a risk with it. I said so.
No, I don't think Ethan Ralph would care, but the reason why I'm playing part of your kill stream here is because I'm concerned the fact that you didn't ask these questions, Ethan Ralph.
You know, whether we do an event now or in 6 months or in a year or 5 years, there will always be a concern that maybe somebody will have their identity compromised, because this is just the nature of political organizing. And everybody knows that. And I've been 100%, I've said that for years, and I've even said that about this event. I've been selling tickets for this event Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on my show, and every single night that I've sold tickets, and people can go back and watch the tape,
Is he? Well, he can't be selling tickets now because he can't stream. He doesn't really have a show now, but I want to know what happens. I want to know if Nick Fuentes is going to be able to sell tickets in future streams.
every single night I've said, if you have concerns, don't come. If you're concerned, if you can't afford a non-zero chance, then don't come. I said, I'm not trying to force anybody to come. I'm not trying to pressure anybody to come. I'm going to tell you what we have done to mitigate this risk, which takes place at any conference. And we're doing everything in our power. It's costing us thousands of dollars. You know, I don't want to go into details, but lots of money to make sure that this thing has security measures that I've never seen at a conference before. I've been to a lot of conferences, secret, private, public. I've never seen the security measures that we're implementing in my entire life. And I've been to some secure things. I said, so we're doing everything in our power to make sure people are comfortable. And if push comes to shove, just wear a mask the whole time. Wear a mask. Don't bring your phone, whatever. And I've said that for the past few days. Anyway, so I went on that call and I told them all this. And I said, are there any outstanding concerns? I said, because this is what you said last week. We've taken care of it. Frankly, I feel comfortable with it. Everything you're telling me is now just what ifs, intangibles. What if people think that, what if people are uncomfortable giving their names? Well, then they can't go. Part of securing the event is having your name, because what if some Antifa left?
None of this has anything to do with the rub that Patrick was talking about. You guys were right. Ethan Ralph doesn't interject at all in this.
Leftist shows up with a pseudonym. We can't have that. It's sort of paradoxical. If you take pseudonyms, you can't have a secure event. If you take real names, you can secure it.
It's not even talking about the issue.
I said, and if people aren't comfortable with that, then they don't go. Well, what if they think this? Well, it's not really a good time. Well, it's really hot right now. Well, we should wait for it to cool off. I'm like, I'm not hearing anything tangible here. I said, so I think I've heard all the concerns. Unless there's anything new, we're going to make a decision. I said, I'm not 100% committed yet. This was on the second call. I said, I'm not 100% in even. I said, but I think I've heard all the concerns. I think I have enough information to make a decision. Now, this was a long time, even before I made the call last Tuesday. Last Tuesday.
By the way, I am comparing my gals to that of Ethan Ralph's. And I'm like, man, I got to be careful what I eat. I don't want to end up like this guy. I'm already doing okay. Ethan Ralph is much younger than me, but he looks much older than me.
I texted Assistant Groyper, who's helping me put this thing together, and I said, look, I said, I still haven't made a decision about whether or not to move forward. Now, we started selling tickets on Monday. This was last Tuesday that I was on the fence about moving forward.
Blah, blah, blah.
I texted a lot
Tickets,
of smart people that I knew, and I said, what do you think? And some people said no, and some people said yes.
Okay.
And frankly, I talked to the people. I was ready to cancel, actually, last Tuesday. I said, you know what? I don't think it's a good thing. I said, you know, like half of the guys aren't on board, and it is kind of like a hot time right now. I said, I think I'm going to pull the plug. And we got all ready to eat lots and lots of money that we put into this. We got all ready to pull the plug on everything and start. I said, but give me until the end of the day. I said, let me think on it. Let me really go over it, really go over all the facts. And then I'll tell you by the end of the day whether we're going to go full speed ahead or whether we're going to pull the plug. It was as recently as Tuesday. And I didn't even tell the Groyper generals that I was having these thoughts. I didn't even tell them that this was taking place. But I
Deadman is a Fed. That is 100%. I am a Fed. All you guys are on the list. No. I'm not a Fed. But I will tell you something, though. With my line of work, I do talk to people about accusations, allegations, and things. And I can tell you this, what it sounds like to me is whenever I ask a mom or dad, hey, you using meth? You smoking meth around the kids? Is that what you're doing? And they will tell me all sorts of stuff about drama with this person, with that person, everything else but the question I asked. I'll spend time deflecting, trying to change the subject, but they won't talk about the actual issue.
I called and I said, yeah, and like Tuesday afternoon, I was getting ready to pull the plug. And then I talked to a friend of mine who's very smart and who has a lot of experience in planning events. I mean, this guy, I don't want to dox anything, but biggest events that you can imagine, like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. He has planned serious events at the highest level, and you know, he's got one foot into the dissonant sphere too. So this guy's opinion I really trust. The thing that I have to say about everybody that gave me their opinion is when you evaluate someone's opinion, you got to establish the credibility. You know, I talked to somebody who's like an academic, and he said, I don't think it's a good idea. He said, now take that with a grain of salt. I don't plan events. And I said, well, I do. You know, I think you're a very smart guy, but you don't engage in event planning. And a lot of the people that had doubts don't plan events either. You know, Patrick, which is the guy who had a doubt, he organized AFPAC last year, and there was a big problem that we had last year at AFPAC. Towards the end of the event, people were able to...
Oh my God. Does he ever get to the Fed stuff? Because I'm almost done with this. I want to go back. I want to go see what Casey says after this. Help me out here. Am I just listening to Fuentes' ramble on? Does Ethan Ralph ask him any questions about him being a Fed or being investigated by the FBI? Does he ask him any questions related to that? If not, I'm going to play part of what Casey says afterwards. I have no idea what he says, but going into it live. In fact, I'll get that queued up, ready to go overtime here. I got some more beer to finish. Yeah, I said I'm watching my weight, drinking beer. Yeah. How you doing with your weight, huh? How you doing with your diet? Yeah, exactly. I have it queued up, ready to go. Skip ahead a bit. Okay. Then I'll continue to play it. Here we go.
To figure out what hotel we were in, because the wall case, there was something that had the Americans the day before, and our conference was exposed.
If they see any type of exposing material, they'll figure it out. Yeah, go ahead.
So now, you know, this is somebody who, you know, that event, in other words, anyway.
He's going to kill himself. I'll just let you go ahead and finish your account, and I have some questions because chat's going to kill me if I don't ask some of these specific questions.
Yeah, no. I'm sure.
I was just letting you give your account, though. I want to make it clear we are going to ask those. Just keep talking. I saw some people in chat thinking I wasn't going to ask you.
Keep on talking.
All that. Go ahead, finish with
we'll clarify that. I just want anyway. So we'll get to that. I will address that. Sure. But so the big events, the others, everything that I have a backup venue to play devil's.
Oh my God.
Everything that I was saying, if this guy is saying about it, I'm like, if he's right. Which people just so we decided if you're gonna blah last night and you need to questions, frankly it's embarrassing. It's that point.
Oh my God.
You know, you're being out. It's not going. Whatever, everybody. Basically, I think he's just saying you call yourself America fan. I think that's to save his own.
Skipping some more
investigation. That was one claim that he made there. I don't know if you
could have just skipped the whole minute, 2 minutes.
Go into great detail about it, but he did make that allegation that said you're putting people at risk basically because you yourself, the leader of the conference, was under federal investigation.
There we go.
Well, here's what I'll say about this, because you're right. When it comes to these matters, I have to be tight-lipped, and I've said this on my show too. I've said this on my show for weeks. I can't disclose the full nature of everything that's happening behind the scenes.
He has to be tight-lipped. He can't disclose the full nature of what's going on behind the scenes. So he is being investigated.
I will tell you that an NBC article claimed that I was under FBI investigation like 4 weeks ago. They did all this reporting about the alleged Bitcoin transfer. You remember that after the Capitol siege. And an NBC report an NBC report claimed in connection to that I was under FBI investigation. Now, to my knowledge, that's not true.
To my knowledge, that's not true. But why do you have an attorney that specializes with working with the FBI?
I've not talked to the FBI. I've not been talking to the FBI. You know, to my knowledge, that could be true. That could not be true.
That could be true, could not be true. How would he not know? See, he's been talking with the FBI. He can't say that he has. He has to keep this event going to appease his master, his new master.
True. That was something that was reported in NBC 4 weeks ago, and that's as much as I know about it, and that's been public, you know. But I will tell you, and I don't want to go into too much detail, I've not had any contact with the FBI. FBI's not talked to me. FBI.
Yeah. Do you guys believe that? Press 1 in the chat if you believe Nick Fuentes has not talked to the FBI. Press 2 in the chat if you believe that Nick Fuentes has talked with the FBI.
Guy's not visited me. They visited people I know, but they haven't talked to me. And to my knowledge, I'm not under investigation. Other than that, what?
To my knowledge, I'm not under investigation. But yet they talk to people that I know. Well, then it sounds like you're under investigation. It sounds like they're getting additional information.
The media said, and I talked to somebody who works in intelligence, and I said, you know, what do you, or somebody who used to work intelligence, I should say. I said, what do you think about this Bitcoin story, these accusations? And he said, well, the media, when they report that, it could be true, it could not be true. He said, you know, assume that you're being watched, assume that you're a person of interest. He said, now being a person of interest really doesn't mean much. I mean, there are a lot of people probably after the Capitol that are a person of interest, but that doesn't mean much. I mean, probably my communications are being monitored. I'm sure my show is being monitored. But to my knowledge, as far as an investigation goes, that's as much as I've heard about it as an NBC report from 4 or 5 weeks ago.
See, and they don't have to come up and tell you, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm an FBI agent and there's an open FBI investigation. They don't have to tell you that. They don't have to tell you that. They'll be talking to you, get information out from you. I'm sure his attorney's talking to somebody. Oh, I'm sure someone has talked to him. Someone with a badge has talked to him.
All right, and he also made an allegation. I mean, I guess it's kind of in the same vein, but I guess it's a little more specific because he claimed that your specific bank account had been frozen, and it seemed to imply that that was one reason you were going ahead with this to recoup costs or whatever. He actually directly claimed that, so I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I caught that too. He said that I'm broke, so I'm only moving.
He didn't say you're broke. He said your bank account is frozen. Two different things.
Moving forward with the conference so that I could fill up my coffers or something. And I will say I am not taking a cent from the foundation, okay? And just to tell you about the event, AFPAC is officially an event from our 501c4 nonprofit called the America First Foundation. It's totally separate. And, you know, the thing that you got to understand about nonprofits is that you cannot commingle money. You know, when it comes to nonprofits, there's a lot of scrutiny from the IRS. There's a lot of regulations involved in this. So it's not like this is just a big slush fund. It's not like this is a bank account where I'm like, you know, going to McDonald's and swiping the foundation card. It doesn't fucking work like that. And I don't know if Patrick, I don't know if he's ever run a nonprofit or anything. He's not involved with the nonprofit, but it's not that simple. And I will say, I've not taken a cent from the foundation. I don't plan on taking a cent from the foundation. You know, we have people on the board. They're all people you know, by the way. I don't want to disclose who they are, but it's streamers, it's people that you know.
Well, I mean, if your personal bank account is frozen, then you can't take a cent from the foundation, but whatever.
But that would have to be approved. No salaries have been approved. No compensation has been approved from the foundation. All the money that is raised by AFPAC is going back into the foundation and being reinvested into other projects. And the beauty about a nonprofit is all the finances are disclosed publicly. And I don't know all the particulars. Our accountant handles this, but you know, you have to file an annual report as a nonprofit, and they show how that money's dispersed. So no. I'm not just talking out of my ass. It will eventually, I believe, be a matter of public record. What's more, you know, I don't want to get into my finances too much because it's just not a good idea.
Now, he
We're
made
in
a
a vulnerable
specific claim
position.
that your bank account was frozen. Now, again, I can't. Obviously, you don't have to go there, but he kind of went. That's kind of a really personal claim that he made. I don't know, but yeah, go ahead. I'll let you say whatever you're comfortable saying.
I'll say this much: it's a half truth.
It's a half truth. As Ethan Ralph asked, half truth? Tell me more about that. No, of course not. Fuentes will ramble on, kind of explain it, but Ethan Ralph probably doesn't ask any questions to dig any deeper than that.
I can't explain the full context of it. It's something.
Oh, he can't explain it. Oh, that's weird. Can't explain that. Can you explain the attorney that specializes with the FBI? Can you explain why it appears that you're being monitored by the FBI? Can you explain that?
Thing that I told Patrick in confidence, and it's something that is part.
So he has told Patrick things in confidence. What else have you told Patrick in confidence? Because Patrick claimed that you told him that you're under investigation by the FBI in confidence.
Partially true, and I will leave it for the audience to decide. I just want people to understand what I'm involved in right now. Currently, I am building my own proprietary streaming platform. I am talking to 4 different lawyers. We are spending tens of thousands of dollars to put on this foundation event. There's lots of things going on. If I didn't have access to capital, and this is just what I'll say, maybe this is an indirect way, but this is how it has to be. If I didn't have access to capital, would any of that be possible? If I didn't have access to capital.
He's currently building his streaming platform. Guys, do you have faith that that streaming platform is going to actually materialize and become something? I don't see that in his future. If all this stuff is true, what we're seeing here, it seems highly suspect and highly flawed.
None of this would really add up, in other words. So I don't want to get into particulars. What he said is, no, it's not technically true. What he said, no, is not technically true. There is partial truth in it. If I were to reveal the full details of it, I can't really do that right now for legal reasons. It would explain what's going on, but he is not really giving the whole account of that. And I'll say what's more is I wouldn't tell Patrick about the nature of all my finances. I mean, I wouldn't tell anybody the nature of all my finances. I told him a narrow situation that's happening. And, like several things, for example, he claimed I was on a no-fly list. That is a bold-faced lie.
Oh, maybe he's not on a no-fly list. Maybe he's actually going to fly down to Florida.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. By the way, I don't have any friends that good either that I tell them all about my finances either. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, really, Ethan? Oh, come on. We know your finances.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And by the way, people think that if I come on here and if I don't go into all the nitty gritty about, are you investigated by the FBI? Is all your money frozen? Like, if I don't go into all the nitty gritty details, I guess, guilty as charged.
You haven't even gone into the nitty gritty details of why you're with Catboy. Then again, who would really care? But why are you with this guy named Catboy Cammy? Why? That makes no sense. Let's start there. But no.
Right? I mean, that's a little ridiculous. This is sensitive stuff. People should understand that. What I will say about that, and this is the most obnoxious thing. He says, and Nick is on a no-fly list. That is just a bald-faced lie. That's not true. What I said on my show.
We'll find out what happens if he has to drive down to Florida or fly down to Florida. We'll see.
Several times over the past couple of weeks is that the Department of Homeland Security revoked my TSA pre-check status. Pre-check is when it's a special program. You pay.
Homeland Security did what to him now? Okay. All right.
$100 and you don't have to take your shoes off when you go through security at the airport. It's like it's this advanced screening thing where they do a background check on you, they make sure you're not like in Al-Qaeda, and then if you're not a terrorist, they say, okay, you don't have to take your laptop out of your bag, you don't have to take your shoes off, you don't have to take your toiletries out when you go through security. And so I got sent a letter that said I was pulled off of that. But that's the extent of it. And by the way, I said that on my show. He comes on here and he says, well, I just have to reveal all this information because everybody needs to know. Almost everything that I've said on my show before. I have hinted and alluded to all of this on my show before. The so-called FBI investigation was a matter of public record for 5 weeks. NBC was reporting on it. It's all out there if anybody has any information, but that's all the information that's out there about it that even I know about. The TSA pre-check thing, I myself have said on my show, and I have strongly alluded to the fact on my show that I'm being watched, that I'm probably a person of interest, that the establishment is interested in me, and which is pretty obvious after the Capitol riots, which is pretty obvious with everything that's going on between Ricky Vaughn and Baked Alaska and everything else. It's pretty obvious. And the bigger point is this: it's about am I telling people exactly what they're getting into by going to AFPAC? And the answer is yes. I have said for the past 3 days.
Really? It's like, I don't know. It doesn't sound like you're telling us the full details, the full truth. Obviously not, because you can't get into the nitty gritty due to, legal issues. Okay. This is pretty good. Does it get better? Or is this it?
Days on my show, everybody knows what's going on right now. If you don't feel comfortable, don't go. If you don't think it's a good idea, then don't buy a ticket and don't come. And I said that for the past 3 days. I said, here's what we're doing to mitigate it. If I didn't think it was smart and safe to go forward with it, I wouldn't go forward with it. This is what we're doing, but if you don't feel comfortable, don't go. And his charge is that I'm obscuring things, I'm hiding things, that I'm not fully disclosing what's going on. Now, for legal reasons, I cannot disclose every single detail of what's happening. I can try to be as truthful as I can. I'm giving you a general idea of what's going on, and people can decide for themselves. But ultimately, and this is the worst part, and I think this is the biggest deal, is when I tell somebody something in confidence at a time like this, in a movement like this,
how dare he tell me?
It is an unforgivable transgression.
Oh, unforgivable transgression to reveal my dirty secrets. Okay.
That you breach that confidence. Because that is all that we have in this movement is trust. I do have the fucking FBI looking at me, I'm sure. I do have the federal government looking over me. I have to look over my shoulder everywhere I go because of what's been going on. And the fact that I tell Patrick some things in confidence about my security or my legal situation or whatever.
I told him in confidence, and he told everybody. And we saw that stream. It took him 30 minutes to get into it. He was laying down his involvement with America First and all that stuff. It seemed like he really didn't want to do it, but he finally did. If it was me or anyone else, and there's some dirty detail like that everybody needed to hear, let's say, I don't know, I couldn't even come up with a hypothetical on the spot about this because I'm not involved in bullshit. But if there was some dirty detail that people needed to know because it could be important to their livelihood, that's something that should probably come to light. Right? I mean, if there's someone in part of a political party, if it's not a party, a movement, and that leader is talking with the FBI, be monitored by the FBI, then people should know. Should definitely know.
And he is going to use that, broadcast that all over the internet, all over the airwaves, basically to excuse himself for not going to the conference. This to me is unforgivable. And it's in some ways it's not even about the conference itself. If you think it's not a good idea, then fine, don't go. If you think that there's more to the story, then fine, don't go. But nobody can defend being told something in confidence, especially at a time like this, with the nature and the sensitivity of the things that he revealed, and then go and tell that to the entire internet. That is unforgivable. And when I said I was surprised, it was because I thought that Patrick understood that.
I understand, telling people things in confidence that you don't want to have the betrayal of trust, having your secrets be revealed to everybody. But if there's something you said that's very crucial, very important, that could impact others, then it becomes, well, what's worse? Me keeping the secret and being silent and watching people get roped into this nonsense, or honoring the bro code? What's better? I should say, what's better? Honoring the bro code of the confidence thing, or telling people, hey, you know what? There's something you guys need to hear. Something you guys need to know. Because, boy, oh boy, I have some information that Nick Fuentes is working with the FBI. I think that's pretty important, right? Wouldn't you?
That because Patrick was in AIM and Patrick was in Identity Europa. And you know what? I didn't think that Identity Europa was a great idea. I didn't think that AIM was a great idea. Now, did I go on my show and say, I have to tell everyone, Patrick told me this and I went to this event about. I told him privately, I think it's
I don't really care about all that stuff.
time to disband it. And I kept it private. And you know what? And even though Patrick has betrayed me, and what's more, he didn't bring any of these concerns up to me up front. Pick up the fucking phone, text me on Signal, say, look, he acts like he pleaded with me. He told me the concerns were venue cancellation and doxing. I heard nothing about anything related to AFPAC that we should be concerned because of, being on a no-fly list or my funds being frozen. Right? He never raised that to me once.
We already said that. It was personal information between Nick and him. Nick and Patrick. That's what Patrick said. So anyway, I'm gonna take another piss break because this beer is going right through me. And then we're gonna play. We're in overtime. Hope you guys have your beers ready, have a drink ready, or something, because we're gonna play a little bit. Go blind into Casey's stream after this. We're gonna see what he says. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I have no idea. First time listening to it. If you have heard it, if you know where the good timestamps are, let me know. I'll be right back. About less than a minute. Enjoy this. I'll change it for you. There. How about this one? Okay. Honeypot Conference. What's up, Devin? Hope you're having a good Friday night. I'm having a pretty good Friday night. Obviously, I didn't have to do anything work-related, so that's great for me. We'll see what happens Sunday. It's be cold as hell over here. Well, hell's not cold, but Houston, Texas, it's gonna be like balls freezing, man. Oh God, like 7 degrees. What? Man, it's supposed to snow in Texas. If it's snowing in Houston, God damn, what does it say about the rest of the country? All right, so we'll play part of what Casey says after, or Patrick Casey says afterwards. This is Restoring Order, Patrick Casey, episode 53. This is after, I believe, after the kill stream, right? Is it? We'll see. Skip the music. Skip the music. Skip the music. Skip.
What I don't want is anyone who...
Here we go.
Creation ritual stuff. I'm curious as to how long this is going to go on. Some people are milking it for content. Maybe that'll just be their brand. Maybe it's just like, let's find new ways to say hateful and vicious things about Patrick Casey. Maybe that's their new brand now. I don't know. I don't really care. I think the line in the sand has been drawn, and I've been totally overwhelmed by the amount of support that I've received. And guys, it does mean a lot to me. When I embarked on, when I started the stream up last night, I had no idea where I was going to find myself after I ended it. What I did was pretty bold, and it was necessary, and it was totally justified. But my phone just totally blew up. Twitter DMs totally blew up. People, names you recognize, right? People who have been... names you recognize, names you don't. Tons of random Twitter accounts, people I've known for years, people that I expected to be unquestioningly pro-AF, right? And I just want to be very clear. I'm not making...
Okay, so you got a lot of support. Okay. Anything else? Because I think... seems like a lot of people already had the idea that Nick Fuentes was a Fed. And now this stuff comes out. It's like, yeah, dude. Like, there's no chance in hell he's not. Those that are still hanging on, whatever. You know, what happens to them happens to them.
Anyone choose. I'm not making anyone choose. I've had many people reach out and say that they don't like the situation overall. They think maybe I could have handled it differently, the other people could, and that they're going to continue to support me and to continue to support AF. And a few people even said, I'm going to AFPAC, but the way that, you know, they tried to ruin you over this, right? And just me, not the other people who aren't going, is unacceptable. And I agree with that. So you guys don't have to make, you know, you don't have to make a decision here, right? I am not trying to say now everyone has to be unconditionally loyal to me. I'm not, I have no interest in that. So if you want to support AF, you want to support the guys involved there, that's fine. That's cool. My involvement in dissident right politics.
Dissident right? Is that the new brand? Like, they don't want to say alt right. They want to say dissident right now. Is that the thing?
For the last 5 years, I've understood that there are going to be people out there who like me and like people who hate me or people I don't like. And that's just something that you have to accept. That's something you have to accept. But if you do decide that you hate me and you don't want anything to do with me and whatever else, well, that's okay. You can make that decision as well. What I don't want is anyone who exclusively supports me or supports me and doesn't like the other guys, or maybe even has sympathies to both sides, reaching out, feeling like they need to go into other chats or they need to publicly attack or whatever else. I mean, if you tweet out that you support me, that's one thing, but
he's trying to go for unity. Look at that.
No one really
That's been the brand
benefits
for
from
years?
these prolonged
Okay.
feuds. It provides the enemy with fodder to say, look at how things are falling apart. And if you're an outsider and you see that a movement is falling apart, I'm not saying AF is, but this is just kind of rhetoric that they use. It's just not a good look for dissident right politics overall. So I'm hoping that everyone can put this behind them, even if they're mad. I feel wronged.
So we're going to give this a little while. We'll see what happens. we're looking to see if he has any sort of other response after what Nick had said. When was this posted? 5 hours ago? Okay. So, we'll see.
Other people feel wronged. Okay. I think it's best for everyone involved, and I think it's best, not just for people's personal brands and careers, but for the cause overall if there's less infighting. So I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to keep creating content. I'm going to...
You think that's going to happen? Or is this going to be like a new IBS, a new Internet Blood Sports, a sort of a dissident right Internet Blood Sports? It's going to be very short-lived, if it is.
To continue, I mean, again, post January 6th, we're kind of in a brainstorming phase. Things like encouraging you guys to get involved in the GOP, in conventional politics. We were doing that before, right? The Capitol protests, before this new normal that we found ourselves in. And I will continue to urge you guys to do that. But in terms of the offline involvement, the offline political prospects and endeavors that I can pursue, I'm still thinking those over. Rallies, we're not doing that. Activism, now isn't even the right time to draw banners, right? You are absolutely going to attract law enforcement attention. Even if they're not going to arrest you for dropping a banner, well, they can make your life hell. And I don't really feel comfortable like asking other people to go out and drop a banner with me, just given that, I have skin in the game. I'm already public with all of this, and that's just that's.
So it's about survival now, which makes sense. That's what it's going to be until you can, well, I guess get some ground.
Just the way that it is. So the question is, how do we move forward? And we will address that. I will address that. It's going to constitute the bulk of the show, a final lid, in-depth stream of consciousness. Here's everything we dislike about Patrick. It's a lot of it's dishonest, right? They're lying to you guys. Maybe not about everything, but consider the fact that their original grievance against me allegedly, among their original grievances allegedly included that I wasn't playing video games enough with them, right? Despite not getting the invite.
I don't care about his lack of video games or how much video games he plays. I don't care about that. I'm going to skip ahead, guys. I'm going to give this a couple minutes. If there's nothing here that's going to be amazing, then we're going to wrap it up. Otherwise, we're going to be bored. Do you guys care about how much or how little video games this guy plays? By the way, I've been playing a lot of, it's called Project Warlock. It's a retro style first person shooter. It's pretty much like Wolfenstein, but modernized a bit. It's pretty fun. But, as you can, whatever.
Despite them obviously being able to jump in anytime on stream when I'm playing anything, of course, right? Those guys were always welcome. And so it's like you're not that. And then last night what they're saying is, well, we never liked Patrick anyways. We never liked him anyways. He's cringe. They're saying transgressive. He's never that edgy. So it's just, what's a bad thing we can say about Patrick and throw it out there without accounting for the fact that it's just entirely that's fine. Just please don't drink the Kool-Aid. Please maintain a level head. The people who unconditionally and unquestioningly go along with a particular e-celeb.
I'm starting to get a little disappointed here. I recall him saying on his stream that he has the messages and that he could show those messages between him and Nick Fuentes if Nick Fuentes calls him a liar. Nick Fuentes called him a liar. Where are the receipts? Where are the messages? We want blood. We want dirt. We want to see that. Entertain us.
Even when that internet celebrity is doing great work, I supported, many other people have, but he's played a central role in everything that's happened over the last few years. And I do an overall and undeniable net positive for the callers are pursuing goals. Trying to messaging, and most important in 2016. Yeah, the thing really to keep in mind here is that the personal attacks, I'm hoping they stop. They're not really, of the people who are like me and whatever else, they're not turning that many people against me. I'm looking at some of these chats, and again, I'm not keeping up too much with it. The names of the people I've never seen anywhere. It is that the offline connections I've made, right? Most of my real friends, IRL friends, are people I've met in politics. And Donald Trump did try. Did he try as effectively as he
We're talking
could
about
have?
Trump?
Well, that's up for debate. That's up for debate. But what I do think, any critique, any criticism leveled against Trump,
It's bad.
DM and I'll put you in touch with someone in your area. No, because vetting, there are issues again
It's bad.
to raise awareness about particular issues and to potentially sap support from other parties. So in the sense, it's not inconceivable that were someone to create a third party, they could create a third party that would be able to shore up enough of the vote.
Guys, now he's talking about Trump and third parties and stuff like that. I don't think this guy is going to give us any dirt. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I wanted dirt. I want to see those messages, man. Show them. Post them. I want to see them. Y'all want to see them. I'm just browsing, obviously, the farm, seeing if they're posted there. No, not yet. Well, it'll come. Maybe. Maybe not. It doesn't really matter. Because I think most people have come to the conclusion that Nick Fuentes is most definitely a Fed. Working, at least being investigated by the FBI. Definitely being monitored. And, I said it before in the beginning. I guess I'll say it now. I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes. Never was. When it comes to politics, really, I guess, I don't know how you would label me, just like a normie conservative. Like, I don't want to pay more taxes when I'm already paying. I'm pro gun rights. I just want to be left the fuck alone. That's it. And I want us to have a harsher stance on China. I want us to not be so reliant on China. I want us to not be so. I don't want the wokeness to take over, but it seems like that's done with. It's already here in Texas. I shared a story where my neighbor had a newborn, and at the hospital, when they delivered the baby, the doctor delivered the baby, and the doctor said, "Oh, here's your baby girl." And the doctor said right afterwards, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to misgender." And it's like, you're a doctor. You saw what was between her legs. You put down on the birth certificate that it was a girl. You know it is a girl. Like, it's a girl. Like, you don't have to be weird about it. It's a girl. So, I don't know if it's like normie conservatives. I don't know. It's just, bottom line here, the point is, as far as America First, I don't know. I don't know too much about what all they get involved in. But clearly to me, from what I've seen with Nick Fuentes, just on surface level, clearly he doesn't practice what he preaches. He's not some white nationalist, whatever. He's not even a face of that. That doesn't even make any sense. Like I said, he's like Hispanic or whatever. If that's your thing, then okay, that's weird. He's also not even traditional. He's Catholic, but he's involved with Cammy Catboy, some Australian dude who shoves dildos up his ass on live stream and has lolicon stuff like on his walls and perps on kids. What? Dude, there was so much content there, so much evidence to just completely disavow Nick Fuentes if you were one of his supporters. But now you get this? Man, I'm preaching to the choir. I know I am, but if any one of you are still like a fan of Nick Fuentes here in the chat or watching this afterwards, it's like, okay. Well, I hate to say it, but you are an idiot. Like, come on now. If everything you're seeing right now is right wing and dissident, right? That's the problem. Anything that's right wing is now dissident, which is bullshit. Anyway, this has been fun. I definitely enjoy doing this. If you guys enjoyed this, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. As far as any weekend streams, we'll see. Dude, we'll find out. We'll find out what happens tomorrow. Sunday, I'm going to be busy with work stuff, probably. We'll see what happens. And then Monday is a holiday. So, we'll see what happens there. All right, well, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I definitely enjoyed your guys' company. MrDeadman equals alt-right PO. No. PO, Phantom Operation? No. Not a furry. I don't do any of that shit. No, absolutely not. No. No. In fact, I was actually going to do an anti-furry stream until this fell in my lap. I'll do that next time. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Oh, that's right. Before I leave, Bukowski said, "You're forgetting Nick's questionable friendship with Baked." You're right. That's right. Baked Alaska. He represents traditional lifestyle and a practicing Catholic, a practicing Christian. It's very Christian to just spray bear mace in the face of someone that you don't even know and isn't even messing with you. You're just doing it to be an asshole. Like, if you want jackass style content, then do it on yourself or a group of friends. Don't just go around antagonizing random people. What the fuck, man? I don't like that. Anyway, you guys take it easy, man. There's a free picture on your wall. You guys are the tiger. If you guys think a picture of a tiger, a painting of a tiger is a furry, that's a very big leap. That's fucking stupid. Come on now. Come on. All right. You guys take it easy. Have a good one.